Hello everyone.
It's Charlotte.
It's Quinn.
It's Liam.
It's Ava.
And
you're listening to the Student Lounge. Today on the Student Lounge, we have Charlotte and Ava presenting, and we'll be discussing the 2023 Arts Tour and the upcoming 2025 Arts Tour. We'll be joined by Quinn and Liam, as well as team leader of Arts and Technologies, Mr. Tudor. Hey!
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, Liam and Quinn.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
Going good.
How are you going?
Good.
How are you
Pretty
going,
good.
Quinn?
I'm doing very well.
Doing great.
So today we're talking about the arts tour that we all went on. So just
In April.
in April. So as the overall question to start us off here was, how was Sydney? How did you guys find Sydney?
I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Everything that we did, the workshops were good. The shows we went to were good. I enjoyed the food as well.
Mm. Yep.
For me, I really, really enjoyed it, and it opened my eyes for what I could do in the future.
That's good. So what show was your fave?
Into the Woods.
Yes,
yeah.
I have to
Absolutely
agree.
my favorite.
Very
Yeah.
good.
It's so
very
good.
So entertaining.
That one was funny.
What in particular made it the best?
Yeah.
Quinn?
I really liked the actors
The prince.
and how the theater was set up, because I hadn't seen that style of theater before.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the stage.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
And how they
Very-
were able to put that production on such a small space.
Yeah.
And
very-
also the
It's really
props.
impressive.
Mm.
Yeah.
Props and backstage was
Intimate.
quite interesting as well. Like how they had Jack's vine like drop down from the ceiling.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Hansel's hair dropped from the
Yeah.
ceiling. And then when you went backstage,
That's
it was so
It was so
cramped.
small.
And I'm like,
cramped.
whoa.
There was
Like,
no
hashtag
space.
whoa.
And
Yeah.
we saw like the dressing rooms, and they were tiny for the costumes that they had.
And
Yeah.
also the actors also had to do some of the percussion and as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was really cool.
So that was your favourite shows. What was your favourite workshops?
I thought the drama workshops we did, the improvisation ones, were really well. I liked them a lot.
What about you, Quinn?
I'm actually not sure because I
Pondering on
am. Because I liked a lot of the workshops. Like I absolutely loved all the improv workshops as well. But I suppose it's not a workshop, but I love doing the tours around as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
like
they were
in
really
the-
cool.
Oh, the Sydney Theatre
Set
Company.
Yeah, Sydney
that one
Theatre
was
Company.
really cool.
That
That
was
was
cool.
so cool.
That was
Yeah.
amazing.
Seeing
was-
backstage how they made all the sets and the
The
props.
icebergs.
Oh, that was really cool.
That was really cool.
And
That
how
was
they
cool.
had a painting that was made so that it could blow up and then be put back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
cool.
that was cool.
That
That
was
was
cool.
so cool. I will say, I suppose at the start, everyone was a little like,
Nervous.
yeah, nervous, but towards the end, people really started to get into it,
Yeah.
and it made it like so much better.
Because then
Yeah.
you see other people getting into it, so you're like, oh, I want to get into it even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was just kind of a
Yeah.
domino effect.
What was your favorite like story, as in for favorite thing that happened outside of the workshops and shows and stuff? Like when we're at the hotel and everything, the accommodation.
There was one night where we came back from having the secret scary tour,
Loved it.
and it was really
Loved
good.
it.
Despite me being a little jumpy, it was
Ooh.
A
very
little.
A little
okay.
bit,
I
a
was
little.
terrified, but
I mean,
it was very
Liam.
good.
I can't wait.
So then when we got back, we decided that we didn't want to go to sleep right away because we were still a bit scared.
Got the jitters.
Spooky.
Ooh, bit-
So then we just decided to stay up, and we talked for how many hours?
An uncountable amount we did.
Yeah.
Oof, just
Countable
talked.
amount.
We
We
couldn't count
talked,
the amount. It was
but-
too
Deep
many.
conversation.
Very
Yeah,
deep.
deep
Very deep.
conversations
deep.
and
Yeah,
yeah.
deep.
They hit different.
They do.
Yeah,
hit
they do.
different.
At
And-
night. Yeah,
it-
they really do.
It was fun because we got to know more about everyone and form more connections and
Yeah.
learn about people.
The roof was definitely
The terrace,
yeah, like it was amazing.
It was such a
Mm.
it was
Remarkable.
so just.
and the view was
chill.
great.
It was
as
great.
well.
Like
yeah.
Oh yeah, me and Paige were watching. We were looking at the hotels, and we kept like people had their windows open, and at first forgot we were in Sydney, and that the like landmarks were behind us. We were like, they're just staring at us, and then we turned around and like, oh no, they're taking photos of the bridge, not us. And it took us a while
Yeah.
to actually realize that, but it was just
good fun. Good fun. What do you hope will be included in the Melbourne Arts Tour?
I definitely like the idea of including, because I feel like with Sydney, it was majority of drama and then visual art. I like how they're including more like music and dance genres, because we mainly looked at contemporary and ballet at the Sydney Opera House. I like how they're adding more genres, and then also media is coming into it.
I liked all the improv workshops and going around and touring over in Sydney. So I hope we do some things like that over in Melbourne. Like we go look and see what they have.
Yeah. Right?
I do
Said
also
that at
know
the tour.
that because when we did our career expeditions, when we went in the city, there were lots of companies over there that they had lots of theatres and everything in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And for the schools over there, you have to go over to Melbourne and study there. So that makes me think that Melbourne has like a lot of theatres and action and all that sort of stuff.
And I feel like it will give students like more of an opportunity to see what they could be working out
Yeah.
compared to just Whopper in like Crown Theatre or His Match.
Yeah.
Like the theatres that are over there.
All the different opportunities they could have.
Yeah.
And open their eyes some more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Widen their eyes.
Widen
their
Ooh,
horizons.
Maybe even raise the eyebrows a little bit so they can see clearer.
What did
Don't
you
mind
think
me.
of the street art tour walk? Street art walk.
I
should
thought
say.
it was just really weird, but in a good way. Shmup. It was really it was weird, but really cool weird, because people have such a creative aspect for things.
Mm.
There was a rock on the floor. Ooh, there was a rock on the floor, and someone had painted over the rock on the floor and made it this thing, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, there was so much creativity in one wall. It was like,
Yeah.
ooh.
I liked how the community was more developed, because on the first street we went on, it kept getting graffiti on. So then the one person went and got signatures from everyone on the street, and they made it a street where you can do graffiti and street art on that street specifically.
Yeah.
I think it was very good because I went on the visual arts tour. So it was really nice to see that, and then going into the abstract work, and also because we saw Monet as well, we saw one of his works in the museums, and I thought it was very good to see the different styles of art to also experiment with when we were doing workshops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very good. Very fun.
Thank you for coming and talking about the Sydney Arts Tour. Can't wait for the next tour that we're going to do together.
Melbourne 2025.
You guys
Exciting.
going to Melbourne?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it's
we all
correct
are.
answers.
Yeah.
Good. Speaking of the arts tour, we're here with our team leader, Mr. Tudor. How are you today, sir?
Good, thanks, Ava. Hi, Charlotte. How are you?
Yeah, good.
I'm good too. So we're just going to ask a couple questions.
So, what do you think will make the 2025 Melbourne Arts Tour different to the Sydney one?
Well, the fact that we're going to Melbourne will make it different.
Real nice.
But I think we've learnt from the tour that we went this year to Sydney. We got students to complete a survey that went to the arts tour this year. And this year we had students in two groups. We had them in a visual art group and a performing arts group. And the feedback we got from the 46 students that went on the tour this year was that they would prefer to be in one group because they wanted to experience the whole tour. And sometimes people had FOMO. They had a fear of missing out of what was happening on one of the tours, because we split into two groups. So Melbourne will be one group where we will experience all the different disciplines of the arts on the tour.
For the people who don't know, what do the arts include?
So here at Mother Teresa, we're very fortunate to have all 5 subjects within the arts being offered here. So we have dance, drama, media, music, and visual art. And so those art subjects can be divided again into performing and visual art. So with that, with our performing arts, we have dance, drama, and music. And with our visual arts, we have media and visual art.
If you could change anything about the arts tour, what would it be? Like, so if you could, not anyone else.
If I could change anything about the arts tour that we went on this year,
Yeah.
I think, there's many things that we learnt from the tour because obviously it was the first tour the school had been on in terms of an arts tour. I think on the last night, having students complete the survey and allow students to have a voice on future tours allowed us to, as a team of teachers, reflect on that and look at changes. So I know that there was a big voice about the lunches on Sydney. So we've looked at changing that for Melbourne. The accommodation we've looked at changing for Melbourne as well, even though in the end we really, really loved staying where we stayed at the YHA on the rocks, and the view on the terrace was amazing. I think looking at a different type of accommodation was really important to the students. So I guess they are the things that I would want to change because it's about the students, not about my tour, even though I get a nice holiday out of it. It's definitely about what the students want to get out of that tour. And obviously because year 10s will be year 12s when we go to Melbourne. Some of you that went on the Sydney tour will get to go to Melbourne. It was about having something else to offer you guys that was different to Sydney.
What was your favourite part about the Sydney Arts Tour we did this year?
One thing that I really enjoyed, and I think it was on one of our last workshops when we went to the Sydney Dance Company workshop, was seeing everyone participate. I think when you start to plan the different workshops and activities on the tour, I was a bit hesitant whether everyone would want to participate and if we'd have any pushback about some of the workshops we did. And if I was thinking about it before we went, the dance workshop was the one where I thought, some people are not really going to like this. But all of the performing arts students engaged in the contemporary dance workshop, and for myself and Mrs. Hunt and Mrs. Gaynor and Mrs. Conway that were there watching, it was like phenomenal to watch. So that was one of my favourite parts. But then also just seeing all the students, I guess, experience backstage, what happens backstage with all the different tours we had, the behind the scenes look. I've had that as part of my life as a stage manager, but you guys got to experience that for the first time. So for you to be able to experience things that we can't recreate in the classroom was great. So they were probably my favourite parts.
Why did you decide to create and have arts tours for this school?
I think it was important to offer something to our students in the senior years. Being a new school, many schools that are like us offer different tours. And so when I first started here, part of my interview was talking about different tours that we could offer. And one of them was the Sydney NIDA tour. Now, unfortunately, when we went to Sydney, it was during school holidays and NIDA weren't offering any workshops because we were still just coming out of COVID at the time that we were planning it. But the idea was to send a group of students in years 10 to 12 to experience what it is like outside of Perth. Because what I hear every day is, I want to go to Whopper. And there's other unis and other places we can study to do with the arts that are across in Sydney, in Melbourne, and it was to show the students those experiences, but also start to replicate some of what is covered in our courses in year 11 and 12 with workshops so that they would help with the students' learning over the year.
I don't know if they want to go to Whopper. That's not me.
Yeah, not
Lots
me
of people
either.
say that.
I don't.
I'm going to go to Whopper. There's NIDA, there's VCA, there's the White House Institute of Design where we did our rendering workshops with costumes.
Oh, with David Bowie.
Yeah.
That was so good.
It was amazing.
Mine were very questionable though. Like really.
David Bowie.
David Bowie.
Yeah.
And speaking of Melbourne,
Yes.
what shows and plays are you hoping to see there?
Well, like in Sydney where we kept summer secret, there are some shows that we're hoping to be able to see that I'm not going to mention now because on our last night, I like to be able to take you guys to a big Broadway musical that you don't know you're going to see. So that one will be kept a secret. Now, there's a couple that I know are going to be in Melbourne at the time, but you won't know which one you're going to. But I hope that it's a range of world theatre and also Australian theatre, because that replicates what we study in drama in terms of Australian texts and also world texts. So that's the idea behind the plays and the performances we see. But also in Melbourne, we are also going to be engaging in viewing some dance. So hopefully the ballet at the Melbourne Arts Centre, maybe going to see an orchestra. So that's still up for planning with the travel agent. But I heard Hamilton's coming back next year to Sydney. So I'm hoping once they've done their little trip in Sydney, they'll move to Melbourne. We can see Hamilton.
That would be really
That would be
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, it would be.
I've never seen Hamilton.
Well, I haven't seen Hamilton either. I've just listened. Oh no, I've seen the movie with on Disney Plus.
I haven't. I should probably.
But I'll put in. Do you want me to drop a name? Jason Arrow. He is playing Alexander Hamilton. So he's an old Colby boy, and he went to Colby when I was there. He was a WAPA student as well, and I know he's still playing the part. So it'd be great if we could see him over in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Backstage pass.
Ooh.
Yeah, VIP.
Get him
Great,
to
wouldn't it?
sponsor the podcast. Cut that bit out.
Maybe we can do an interview with him.
Yeah, bring him back to Perth just for the sake
Yeah,
of this.
we can do that.
Well, when he comes.
He's originally from Perth.
Yeah. So you never know.
I would know that. Like, what? And you mentioned something, not in this podcast, but you mentioned a little bit ago about tour jackets for this tour.
Yeah.
So what are you planning for them to maybe possibly look like?
I knew this question was going to come up.
Or did you just?
Yeah, because I was thinking when I was talking to Mrs. Hunt about this, I thought we could have sequin jackets. Would you like sequin jackets?
Well, what would be sequinized?
It would be like gold sequins or
Where? On the arms?
on the arms,
No.
on the vest part.
No.
Like uncomfortable.
No.
From dance costumes.
No, I think it would be a really maybe high vis jackets.
Because I know he's joking.
But I said tour jackets, so it's just a high
You know what I
vis.
think? I think we should just add some wings on the back as well.
Yeah.
And just make it
And then we can use that as a
really-
costume.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then like quick
We
change.
could fashion it so
Yeah.
that we could have.
Skirt, wrap it round.
Oh, I'm not too sure about that.
No, that's
maybe
a
a
good
kilt.
idea.
Oh, yeah.
It would be better, yeah. My bad.
Because
Sure,
we are
would
going
love
to
that.
Melbourne, and Melbourne experiences 4 seasons in one day, and it's April. Maybe like a soft shell Kathmandu style jacket.
Yeah.
But then transitions into a raincoat.
Yeah. But then also transitions.
I mean, when we're taking 50 students away, they need to be easily identifiable. I imagine it's going to be a Mother Teresa blue. So maybe a blue jacket.
Ooh.
Too
Will it
much
be
spoilers.
similar to the Canberra one?
They had hoodies.
Ooh.
They had like.
I would
zip-up
like to
ones.
maybe see if we can get maybe like a soft shell jacket. Yeah.
Like the Lulu's jackets.
Well, they're more like
That's okay.
they're like the Letterman jackets, aren't
Yeah.
they? It'll be
They're like American jock jackets.
yeah, not like that.
Yeah. Usually like a puffer vest. Neon pink high vis puffer vest.
That would be
Yeah.
perfect.
Is there anything else you'd like to add about Melbourne or Sydney?
No, not me personally, but I would like to know what the two of you thought of Sydney in terms of your favourite parts.
I definitely liked connecting with everyone because before I went on the trip, I wasn't really friends with everyone, but now I feel like we become really close as a community because I know I've started talking to the year 12s way more. And
Definitely.
I really enjoyed seeing the shows, and then after we saw the shows, we went to like the companies and saw the backstage behind it, so we know what happens to put on those shows. I really enjoyed seeing that.
Did you think, now it's me asking the questions, do you think your involvement in the musical changed because of you being part of the arts tour?
Yeah, and definitely also seeing Wizard of Oz last year as well, and seeing the amount of effort that's put into it and what goes on stage.
Ava?
just got to be straight up with you, to be honest. The thing that's not even arts related is the ghost tour. That was my favourite part.
Why?
I'm not even going to lie. I'm just that girl.
I mean,
I'm
when
the
we chose the
ghost.
ghost tour, it was because we wanted the storytelling, you
Yeah.
know, and I thought the people that we had that took us around, we got to see a bit of history of the rocks where we were staying, but it was their storytelling that I loved the most.
He was scary.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's in that briefcase? And he was like, just some equipment.
It was
And I
great.
Like, equipment.
It was
like,
great acting, I
Like you'll
thought.
open it and something will jump out at my face. But it was just equipment.
It was
And
kind
she
of
showed
funny
me.
to see the reactions of people in that group because I had Liam and Quinn in my
Yeah,
group.
well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was crying and I
It
did
was
like sit
scary.
on the floor when like we got jump scared, but like that's just like adds to the funness of
Yeah,
I
we
think
couldn't sleep that night,
it.
but
Yeah, the children.
I think reflecting on the tour, one thing that I will add that I think I didn't think I would realize this would happen was students that went on the tour that maybe class themselves as only visual arts students or students that only class themselves as music students, etc., decided when they came back and ready for semester 2 that they were looking at changing subjects. So someone that might have just been a drama student was looking at how can I now get into dance? And because of that contemporary dance workshop, they saw that, oh, I can actually dance and that I am interested in this. And so looking at changing their subjects for semester 2 or even into year 11, the tour helped them with that understanding or that reason to change. And I didn't think the tour would bring that for our students, and I think it's a great byproduct of us going away.
I did like the behind the scenes of Belvoir as well.
Belvoir was amazing, wasn't it?
was.
Into the Woods.
Yep,
Yeah,
that was
that was an amazing
Yeah.
performance.
And the fact that we were fortunate enough to have the prince or one of the princes come out and talk to us.
very
And
fortunate.
Yes, he's from Whopper.
Yes,
But, you know, it just
beautiful.
happened that he was getting ready for the matinee and we were there doing a workshop. I think that's those sort of things after Tick Tick Boom, being able to speak with the resident director, you know, those sort of moments we didn't
Yeah.
plan and that I think we got a lot out of them as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Well, thank you very much for joining our little podcast today and talking to us about this.
thank you, Ava and Charlotte.
Thanks for listening to the Student Lounge and for our guests giving up their time for us. Join us next time for another exhilarating episode of the Student Lounge.